welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Yes, I am.
And I think we're going to just jump right in. We're going to do some click picture to start off with. This is a game where we grab a random image from a set of weird stock photos that we found online. We're going to paste it into our Discord so that each of us can see it. We'll describe it to you. And then we're going to make a game design from it. Weirdly enough.
Cool.
So let's do it. 3, 2, 1, enter. Okay. We have a couple in a kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Having a very friendly knife fight. They seem very pleased by this knife fight they're having and the fact that she's about to murder him with a giant chef's knife.
Yeah. So what's immediately come to my mind is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And
okay.
They're
two
both
assassins.
Two assassins who just found out that, you know, they're actually married to each other and they're bitter rivals, but they're also sort of having fun with it now. It's part of their sexy time.
All right. Now, the thing is, from my point of view, the guy looks like a current-day Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
You can't really see his face, but he's dedefinitely sort of got that look to him with the beard and stuff. So maybe this is like Harry Potter at age 37.
Mm-hmm.
And he's stopped being an aura. Now he's an assassin.
Yep.
He's a wizard assassin. And his wife is also an assassin. Maybe she's a muggle assassin.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. So, is this actually Harry Potter or is this Daniel Radcliffe? Because we all know that Daniel Radcliffe is actually a wizard.
And an assassin.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's Daniel Radcliffe. He's a wizard, not in the, like, Harry Potter sense that he played, because that's, like, completely over the top and ridiculous and also written by a transphobe. But this is the real world where, unbeknownst to everyone, Daniel Radcliffe himself is a wizard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He actually discovered it while filming Harry Potter, weirdly enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, he said Avada Kedavra to one of the catering staff, and yeah, they just...
Yeah,
They
managed to pass it off.
They turned a funny shade of green.
Yeah, that was it, because in real life, Avada Kedavra is just like a discoloration spell. It's just a discoloration spell.
Yeah.
You know, nobody actually knows the killing curse except for Harry. I mean, except for Daniel.
Yeah.
You're a wizard, Danny.
Okay, so the question is Daniel Radcliffe
currently married?
Married.
I don't think he is he? He is in a relationship at least.
Yes, with Erin.
Erin Dark.
So it turns out that Erin is an awesome assassin, like a muggle assassin.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wizard assassin. And they find out that, you know, they're going after the same... They're in the same business, but they didn't realise it.
Yeah, so... Yeah, exactly. So they've... So for however long, 10 years, let's say, they've been together, both each going off, killing people on their so-called business trips.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't have to follow the plot, but in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, did they get each other as a target, or they got the same target or something?
They got the same target, and that's where they sort of realised that, you know...
Yeah, okay.
Something happened, and that's why they end up sort of fighting against each other when they realise that they're both assassins.
Yeah, okay. So I like that. I like following a similar arc. They get the same target, and...
Because obviously they only get paid if they're the ones who have...
If they're the ones who take him out.
Yeah, proof of the kill or whatever. Yep.
Yeah. And they're like, I thought it was shared money. What does it matter who takes it out?
Yeah. And then the third part of the act, the third act, is them, you know, combining their muggle and wizard forces together.
Yeah.
And becoming, like, the unstoppable, like, assassin team. Killing all the turfs.
Against, like... maybe their employers or something, who they discover are, you know, evil. All right, I like this a lot. I feel like we're kind of skirting around the edges of what the actual story is. So maybe let's sort of take a bit of a deeper dive.
Yep.
Daniel Radcliffe has been married to this woman. His longtime girlfriend, or they've been together. His longtime girlfriend, Erin Dark, which is a cool fucking wizard name anyway, even though she's a muggle in this reality. Well, and in reality too, presumably. They've been together for 10 years. They've been, they're both assassins. Daniel Radcliffe is magical. So what's this target? What's this target that they get? You know, 1 week they're like, oh yeah, I've got to be away from July 17th to the 19th. There's a work business trip for my paperclip company. I've got to go to ClipCon, and I'll be back.
And Daniel, of course,
on the
thinks
19th.
that ClipCon is 100% real.
Oh, I was thinking that was his job, but yeah, either way.
No, because I'm thinking that he does bathrobes.
Oh, he's his bathrobes.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense
for a wizard to think
Daniel
about
Radcliffe.
robes. Yep.
Yeah, okay, because then later on he gets to do magic. And I like the idea that the whole game. Oh, also this is a game, we haven't really talked about gameplay. That the whole time, none of the wizardy like tropes apply to him. Like, this is the real world. This is real magic. He doesn't have a fucking wand. He doesn't have a robe. He doesn't have a pointy hat. But then at some point, like, he ends up in a bathrobe with like a traffic cone on his head and like waving, I don't know, a paperclip. And all of a sudden looks like an actual wizard.
Okay, so the gameplay is I don't know, I reckon this could be fun as like a co-op multiplayer game where you sort of, each person plays one of the couple.
Yeah.
And like each of the things, like, it just so happens that, Harry decides to go visit his wife at ClipCon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, is right where, he expects her to be, yet she's off doing like a Hitman 2 sort of thing on her lunch break.
Okay. How does the multiplayer, like, I'm trying to figure out how the multiplayer works then.
Well, there's certain things that in, like, I'm picturing it as you can either have it as couch co-op and you're sort of doing almost a, what was that game? A Way Out, where it had, you continually saw what the other person was doing. So it's all about, you've got a couple of things in your list that you've got to get done. And one of those things is finding out that, the other is actually part of this world, sort of thing.
Okay. I could see, it could be interesting in that A Way Out kind of two-player thing where, sometimes it's mostly one person controlling and the other person's just sort of got, like, side things to do that they can control or something, or, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Or they're just walking while the other person's in a conversation, so that's really what you're paying attention to. And then, because then, it does give the opportunity that, like, once after this mission's done, okay, now you're, like, well, there's a section where you're fighting each other, and then there's a section where you're working together.
Yeah.
And then it becomes more of a traditional sort of co-op, shoot 'em up sort of thing. No, not shoot 'em up necessarily, but like action game.
Mm-hmm. Shmup.
It's a bullet hell. Yeah.
A third-person bullet hell.
It just turns into just all these spells blasting slowly towards you as you have to, like, navigate through them.
What I can imagine is you almost get like a Wanted sort of thing where, Harry can now curve his wife's bullets. So,
oh, yeah, I like the idea of being able to sort of have that level of co-op. Yeah, she's using a gun and he's basically, like, manipulating them to go where they need to go.
You could just imagine some of the crazy stuff that you could do towards the end, like in the Hitman 2 levels sort of thing, or the Hitman levels, where they're now going out on contracts. And
it would be really interesting to have a multiplayer Hitman like that.
Maybe
that should just be the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, maybe the whole thing should just be Daniel Radcliffe, the wizard, and his muggle assassin wife going on fucking awesome contracts where they're together.
Yeah, the prologue
Hitman
is
style.
The prologue is literally them finding out, they're both trying to attack the same sort of the same person. Like, they're both, sort of marking off different things.
Yeah, that's almost just the intro. Is like, it's still in a level where you each play one thing, but it's like it's that level is the whole section of they find out. Oh, you think that's where they meet?
I reckon that could be a pretty cool way. So they've always sort of had this thing. So this picture, the reason why she's so happy and she's attacking him with a knife is because this is just foreplay for them.
Yeah, well, he can instantly magically heal himself if she stabs him, so it's fine. They're into it.
Mm-hmm. It's consensual.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a bit of a pivot in that way, though. Then, but yes, I like that idea that the intro level, it's this 2-player Hitman-esque game that basically ends in them killing the same targets or learning about each other, meeting each other.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get a montage of them falling in love or something. And then it's 3 years later and they're getting their next mission where they work together. Now they're a team.
Yeah. And basically you've got certain things that the wizard can do, certain things that the muggle assassin can do, a la Hitman.
Yeah.
And there's multiple different ways of actually doing this sort of thing. Like, you got to kind of work together to actually pull off the plan.
So to make this interesting, yeah, definitely. What are Daniel's limitations? Because you don't want him being all powerful as a wizard, obviously. I think part of it is that maybe he's more if he's doing spells, it's going to attract attention.
Yep.
Spells are loud or make lots of light or whatever.
What I kind of like is spells can only affect the person that hears them. So he can be very quiet doing it to himself. So he can make himself look like something else quite easily. But if he needs to, put someone else under a spell, then he has to do it loud enough for them to actually hear.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was more also thinking yes, he can make himself or his wife look like someone else, but you can't just do it in the middle of a crowd because it requires she glows like the fucking sun for
13
seconds. Yeah. So you have to find a shed to do it in, or do it out of view, or something like that, so that it's a bit more limited than just being able to instantly become someone else in the middle of, a dinner party or something.
Given that they are married and they're trying for kids, there are certain parts of the level in which if you happen to be able to sneak into the bathroom or sneak into a closet,
yeah,
you have a mini game of saying it. She goes, "I'm ovulating, quick."
Yeah, okay, I like that actually. That's kind of cute because it gives it that Mr. and Mrs. Smith-ish vibe of, oh, we're on this serious fucking assassination mission, but we're gonna fuck in the bathroom. Definitely.
I'm just imagining just all the different sort of scenarios that you could have. She's out on a final assignment when she finds out she's pregnant.
That she's pregnant.
The doctor calls her basically just as she's firing off her last bullet.
Yeah, she's got the mark tied up and the gun against his head, and the fucking phone rings. And as she hangs up, she fires her silenced pistol for the final time. Yeah,
yeah. There's certainly a lot of cool little things that you can do, but
I think we should move on.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to move on to Click Pitch. Trevor, do you want to explain this to our audience?
Click Pitch is a game where we each have a random phrase generator, because that's what I've chosen. So it's ramped up Click Pitch. We each have an adjective and a noun that will refresh on the count of 3, 2, 1. We click a refresh button. We get those words. We throw them at each other. We come up with a game design, much like we do with Click Picture. And then we throw it away and do it all over again.
Hells yeah. Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Clickety-boo.
Unexpected updating.
Snoring monorail.
Okay. So, this is about a monorail system that runs Windows.
Don't they all? They all run on Millennium Edition, from what I understood.
Yeah, probably. And at a key moment, Windows decides it needs to do an update.
Yeah.
And the system goes down. And when it comes back up, like, the monorails are, I don't know, something around the monorail system updating. I guess, are you, like, the monorail sort of traffic controller or something? Are you up in a booth when this happens, or are you driving the monorail? Like, what's the deal?
I'm thinking this is, like, Speed 3 on a monorail that basically update happened right as they were about to stop into a station. And because it happened, basically, the accelerator is still on. It hasn't actually started stopping, and they're basically going around the city continuously. Like,
okay, that's good, because I love the idea that when you're trying to figure out when you're going to be able to put the brakes in, you're waiting for this fucking update to get to 100%. And like, that's the whole course of the game is just this fucking Windows update, and it goes, you know, and it gets to 87%, and then for some reason drops back down to 63. Like,
and it says estimated time remaining 3 minutes,
7 years,
4 minutes, 23 minutes, 7 years, 3 minutes,
minus 2 minutes.
So I love the idea that you've got a USB key that you need to get onto this train.
Oh, okay. So you're not on it initially. Yeah.
You're the Keanu Reeves of the thing. You've got to get onto this. I think instead of being a cop, because we're against cops at the moment, you're an engineer who's whose like favorite pastime is doing parkour. So you
Sure.
You can do parkour, but you're also an engineer. Your main thing is that you've done work on this update. The reason why it failed is because the update wasn't supposed to happen until the train had stopped. But the problem was that the monorail driver, he was sort of asleep at the wheel and didn't hit the brake in time, and therefore
what he didn't do is he didn't hit the snooze for 10 minutes button on the update.
Okay, so I like the idea that basically it's going around this loop continuously. People are getting sick because it's going so fast. It's gradually accelerating. You as a character, nothing can go fast enough to get on, so you've got to sort of get yourself somewhat up to speed as it's coming, so you can jump off and jump onto the train and sort of. Well,
so I think I'm just trying to think of sort of the arc of the whole thing. And because I'm picturing this as sort of a, Uncharted-esque third-person-y sort of thing.
Yep.
But with a lot of, like, moving, once you're on the monorail, you're, like, moving up and down, between the carriages to, like, talk to the driver, to talk to other, maybe there's someone else on the train who's got some idea, or maybe there's like a family with kids and you like check in on them. Like, there's just different things that you're sort of doing, moving up and down the carriages.
Yep.
So that you're kind of getting a sense of who's where on the monorail from, like, maybe 4-5 carriages or something.
And then when you're on there, you realize that this update was actually purposefully set to go at the wrong time.
Oh yeah. You start discovering the nefarious plans behind it. Yeah. But I'm thinking what's happening is that, this is a one-of-a-kind monorail. It's actually, or maybe it's not actually a monorail. It's like one of the, like,
mag-lev.
Mag-lev, yeah. And so it's actually speeding up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just that can't be stopped, it's speeding up, and if it gets to a certain speed, so it is like the opposite of speed. If it gets to a certain speed, it's not gonna be able to make a certain corner or something, it's just gonna go flying off a cliff and kill everyone.
Ooh, and I love going through, when you're going through the train, basically, whoever's in charge of this monorail train, whatever, they've actually put, like, the speedo actually on all the monitors all the way through this thing, so that you see that there's, like, a red line that
Well, I think it's like, because in Shanghai, I had a layover in Shanghai once, and they've got a, like, effectively bullet train kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They have the speed, because, like, that's one of the selling points of it. On the, like, little displays at the end of each carriage, they have the speed that you're going, and it gets up to whatever, 450 fucking kilometers an hour. So yeah, I think it's just like that. I think you see the speed, and so yes, as you're going through the train, back through the carriages or whatever, you've got that in your, in your sight at all time. There's that sort of slowly climbing, and I think part of it then is there are things you have to do to temporarily slow the train down.
Yeah.
A bit, so that, because basically you don't want the train to reach that certain speed before the update reaches 100%.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, if you got everyone on the train into the back carriage, you've actually got too much weight in that back carriage, and it sort of sags down onto the rail.
Yep.
And may actually, cause some friction to slow it down slightly. But the problem is that it starts, like, setting sparks out the back and, like, launches flames.
It's going to actually destroy. I think, degrade the track. I like that idea. I think it's basically these set pieces where, I think it's a fairly linear game, realistically. Yeah. I don't know if I'm trying to think what the main actual gameplay is then, other than just walking back through the train and talking to people. Like, is it puzzle solving, or is it quick time event kind of stuff? Is there combat? Like, I don't know. I
kind of like the idea that there's a bit of parkour, that when you first get onto the train, you got to sort of parkour your way onto the train. You realize that you don't have everything that you need, so you've got to get off the train and get back on. And
get back on.
And there's just a few times that this sort of happens, that you seem to be the only one who can actually somewhat make it on, because anyone else who's tried has basically fallen in between the train and, like, got crushed underneath the mag-lev.
They're okay. They had a harness on or something. Like, they had some. They managed to get safe.
I know, because
I don't think you've got all these people. Well, maybe the first person to, because I'm just thinking, like, you don't want all these people to have, like, literally died or been injured just trying to get on this fucking train. I do think you'd lose some people on the train itself. Like, maybe that, when you're trying to slow the train down by getting it into the back, and, like, you have them all jump and come down at the same time to, like, push it down a bit and create some friction just briefly. But then, like, the third or fourth time you do it, I don't know, like, a bit of the train breaks off or something and someone gets sucked out. And then you have to, like, shut off that last carriage and you can't do that again, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just wondering who the nefarious sort of entity is. Like,
it's the rail lobby, probably. I don't know, who wouldn't want a super high tech? Is it Elon Musk? He's the bad guy because he wanted his fucking hyperloop to be the thing. Mm-hmm. Which is mag-lev and stuff anyway. But, like, he's like, no, it must be in tunnels. It can't be raised above the city. So he wants to show that it's too dangerous.
And he also, at the same time, like, I love the idea that you get to go down into the tunnels and there's a fully working mag-lev down there.
Oh, like, that's one of the solutions. Like, one of
it's actually already been built.
The third time you have to get back on the train. Like, there's some other reason that you have to get off and get back on, but now it's going so fast. Your other methods, you can't get on it. You have to fire up this hyperloop. And, like, in the split second where, like, the Hyperloop station is open and it happens to be close enough to the monorail and they're going to be passing at the same time, you have to, like, jump between them when they're going at a similar velocity or something.
I could just imagine that this is the sort of thing that Elon Musk really doesn't trust in anyone else, so he just goes and builds something without anyone's permission at all.
Oh, totally. Well, when he pays people to build it, because
he doesn't build it himself.
He doesn't build anything himself. I do like the idea of it being an Elon Musk type, just this real asshole who's going to sabotage the raised mag-lev monorail, so his own tunnel-based monorail mag-lev, will succeed. Yeah.
And it all comes down to basically a really, really shitty driver that he had installed in the Windows Millennium operating system that basically drops out the Wi-Fi every now and again. And that's the reason why it sort of died.
It's also why that's a good... Well, I like the idea that,
the faster it goes...
Windows is trying to do its update, right? But if it can't get internet, it can't... So, when you're in a certain section of the tunnel, you can't get service, so it doesn't go up during that time. But you can also use that as a reason to, because I'm sort of thinking, if we're doing any sort of, adventure gamer-ish puzzles, or, you have to solve something to figure out what to do next, you can't have the update on an actual timer, right?
No.
Because you want it to go up for plot reasons as opposed to actual time-based reasons. So you can just make up reasons why it only goes up sporadically.
I'm just imagining that it's going so fast that it's switching between all the different Wi-Fi points so quickly that it can't actually keep the connection.
Oh, well, maybe that's one of the things. That's one of the puzzles. You have to get some sort of alternative internet on board, because it's trying to use the cellular internet and it's just handshaking all the different cell towers constantly.
Yeah, it's going
and not actually
so
getting anything down.
That by the time it's done a handshake, there's now a new cell tower that's closer.
Yeah, it's out of yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. You end up having to I don't know,
build a cell tower on top of it.
Or hook up to a satellite, build a satellite dish and program it to constantly be pointing at the right satellite or something, some ridiculous thing. And even then it's okay, well, but when we're going through the tunnel, it's not going to work. And yeah,
but I'm surprised that, if you actually built a cell tower on top of the train itself, to a satellite,
right,
where it is doesn't really matter too much.
That's effectively the solution. It's okay, now the onboard system is always going to connect to this makeshift cell tower that we've built, literally attached to
out of aluminum foil, paper clips, and bathrobes. Because it turns out that
and then fucking wizard Radcliffe comes and saves the day anyway,
and says 3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah. All right, what do you got?
Algebraic purge.
Oh, joined mechanism.
Ooh. So, have you seen the movie The Purge?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever watched a whole movie of The Purge, but I very much know the premise.
Yes. So, this is a very similar thing in which it's an algebraic purge. Basically, algebra got so difficult with calculus and all this sort of stuff that they decided to purge a whole heap of the equations that no one uses anymore.
Oh, so it's literally purging segments of mathematics.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking that the purge got so out of control that they'd created some rules around who's allowed to purge, where you have to, it's you have to figure out algebra problems to determine if you're a purge bringer or not.
We didn't need to square you. You don't have a curve. Therefore, you're not allowed.
Is this a world where, again, we're however many years into the purge, it has gotten to the point where, we can't fucking do this area. Okay, it's no longer sustainable, but it's still useful in a certain thing. So instead of the yearly purge, it's now 6 times a year, anyone with a certain profession gets to purge. And this December, it's math teachers.
Yep, I like that.
And so you get different, every purge is a little bit different then too, right? Because particular professions will have different sets of skills that they put towards purging.
That time that the podiatrists got up and did their purge, oh my god, was it gory.
Yeah,
and that was weirdly sexual.
Exactly. They're just going around fucking stealing socks, turning them into, I don't know,
tourniquets.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, like different professions then, and I don't want to paint professions too generally with a brush, but certain professions are certainly more likely to be murderous in a purge versus other aspects. Because it's just like there's no laws, right?
Yeah.
Or is it specifically murder? It's just there's no laws.
There's no laws for
24
hours, but quite often it ends up being that murder is like one of the main things that happens during the purge. Let's just call it that. Basically, certain crimes are on the table, and murder is one of them.
Yeah. Now, do math teachers want to murder anyone? What is there? Like, if all math teachers all of a sudden can break the law with no repercussions,
mm-hmm.
Are they going to murder people?
Yep.
Or are they going to do other shit?
They don't like English teachers. They really don't. And the students in the class who make fun of them. Like, I'm picturing this.
Hey, Timmy, what's X minus 3 times 2?
I don't know.
Solve for Y.
I'm now picturing, he comes up to the kid and he goes, "Why, Mrs. Johnson? Why are you shooting me?" She goes, "I told you to solve for Y." Bang.
That's pretty good. But why? Well, that's your job. It's your job to solve for Y. Well, yeah, I taught you to. Didn't I teach you to solve for Y? You mustn't have been paying attention.
Okay. I don't know where we can go from there.
No.
Solve for Y.
Let's go again. Solve for Y. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Title of the episode.
Solve.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Go.
Sacred megabyte.
Hot right.
Hot right?
Yeah. RIGHT.
Is that like the alt-right, but the hot right? No, let's not go there on this one.
Let's not make it political.
Yeah, I mean, everything's political to a degree, but yes, let's not tie it into current day politics.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred megabyte I like because I like the idea of exploring some sort of digital cult or digital religion or something.
So instead of it being hot right as in right or left, how about as hot right as in you're writing to, the hard drive or whatever. So
like a hot right, yeah.
Yep.
Like some sort of move where you write to the drive, while it's just plugged into I don't know.
Well, as you said, sacred megabyte. I'm seeing this as like a digital version of like the Messiah sort of thing. Like there's an AI program out there.
Yeah.
That actually proves the existence of...
I like this being... There's probably a term for this already, but can we coin a term for the aesthetic of, like, 90s PC culture?
Can we coin a term from...
Like, because, you got, like, steampunk and cyberpunk. What is it when it's, like, based around fucking 3.5-inch floppy disks and CRT monitors?
Oh, it's got to be the hot right, doesn't it?
No, I want a punk. I want a punk out of it.
Okay.
What do you call it? Like, can it be like, oh, shit. What's the... Okay, one I thought of was Gauss punk. You used to have to de-Gauss those monitors. Gauss punk. Cathode punk. Cathode ray tube. I don't know. Anyway. I like the idea of it being in that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah. CRT, token ring networks.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this sacred megabyte that was written contains one of the most unusual sort of things within it. Yep. One of the bits somehow got set to 2.
I was fucking going to say that. You stole that out of my brain. Yeah, it's like a superposition of an electron or something.
Yeah, basically it's early quantum computing.
Yeah.
But in 90s technology.
And accidentally, yeah.
It's both, true and false at the same time, therefore 2.
Yeah. Okay, so I like the idea then that this isn't set in the 90s. This is still set in, 2077 or something.
Yeah.
Well, wait, that's the exact number for Cyberpunk, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. It's set in the late 21st century, but because
2069.
Nice, yeah. Because of this sacred megabyte, that's the reason that a lot of this tech is stuck around.
But surprisingly, it's actually set in April of 2069, so it's 4/2069.
Yeah, this whole game takes part on 20th of April, 2069. Oh, I see. Yeah, anyway. 4/20/2069. You get an extra 20 in there. So what does this sacred megabyte do? What does it give benefits? Does anything that writes this hard drive, the processing happens super quick or something? Is this
I don't think that it really matters because it's a MacGuffin of this is the thing that basically the AI is after, and you're trying to get it to the resistance sort of thing.
Okay, I guess I was trying to figure out if this drove the whole current sort of cyber culture, tech culture.
No, I think this is something that's just been found, and
okay,
this has been predicted by the AI back in 2023 that one day there would be a sacred program that would change the world and eradicate all life on the planet or something like that.
All right. Okay. So we're just saying, just arbitrarily then, that this is set in 2069, but technology basically hasn't progressed past 90s tech.
Yeah. Although there is AI. So
that's fine, because we can fluff around that. Yeah, I think...
Just because the AI was written in QBasic doesn't mean that it's any less.
Yes, I love that. It's got that, blue background, the standard blue background. Occasionally it switches into fucking banana. What was the banana game that came with QBasic? Gorillas?
Yes, gorillas. You can choose whether you want 80 character mode or whether you want
Nibbles? Was it Nibbles? Was that the snake game?
I think so.
I don't know.
But it's basically that really horrible ASCII graphics.
Yeah. For sure. All right. So that's enough world building. What's the fucking game? Who do you play?
You play just the
I love the idea that there's VR, but it's those fucking old 90s VR as well. The giant headsets with the neon color strip on the front,
where you actually need supports to keep your neck from breaking.
To keep it on. Yeah, basically. A fucking Virtual Boy as well.
Virtual Boy is big in this world.
Yeah.
It's the pinnacle of virtual gaming. But it's now got 4 colours.
They added some colours. Not only do we have the R, we've got the G and the B.
We have a G and B. VRGB.
VRGB, yes.
games.
That's just really good. We've added the G and the B to VR.
And no, it's not just a Game Boy. It's VR, GB, virtual red, green, blue.
Virtual reality Game Boy, virtual RGB, VRGB. It all ties in. That's great.
Yep. Okay. So I'm imagining it's just this like young kid, Trent Miller.
Okay. Where did that name come from?
I don't know. It's just in my head.
Okay. Cool.
It seems like an everyday sort of character.
Yeah. Trent Miller.
Yep.
Love it.
So Trent Miller, 16, computer genius, has been writing like QBasic code all day long. It's a point and click adventure game because he's the one who actually created this code accidentally when his Coke spilled on his on his keyboard.
Bring in some fucking electric dreams.
Oh, and 100% this is new
weird science. Yes.
They've just branded it so many times.
And it actually like changes between clear and Coke coloured
in the glass
because it's actually like it's like new old crystal new old Coke.
Classic.
No sugar.
Or as they call it for short, bloke Coke.
Bloke Coke.
Yeah.
They're still doing fucking weird gendered marketing to make men do anything. Yeah.
Okay, so he's accidentally created this program. He's connected to the internet via his,
56k modem.
No, 128k modem.
Oh, they've gone for okay, great. Sounds good.
They doubled it in a bit.
Yeah.
But as he's sending the file to like his science teacher, his mum jumps on the phone and his internet connection goes down.
Yes, perfect. I love that that's what causes the problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he's sending his program over the line and then he gets a fucking no carrier.
Yeah, it basically gets detected via this AI program that is, can pass the email or whatever, and basically Trent is now on the run. And numerous 90s references.
Wait, did this AI already existed, or did this create the AI?
No, the AI existed because it existed in 2023 when it predicted that there would be a program and it would destroy all of civilization.
Right, someone created like a fucking Markov generator or whatever, Markov string thing in 2023 that spat out a prophecy.
Yep.
Exactly. That spat out a prophecy saying, in 50 years there will be a new bit born.
Yep, and that bit will eradicate all of humanity and AI will live supreme. Blah, blah, blah.
Play again, yes, no.
and it just doesn't do a read key. You have to actually press enter afterwards.
Yes.
There's a full read line because the person that programmed it really sucked.
Definitely. I can't believe you remember that little fucking snippet of QBasic lore.
Because guess who's writing a console program at the moment and is using readline to pause? Yeah, that's me.
Oh my god. Okay, so point and click adventure.
Yep.
I like that. Definitely in that 90s style of point and click adventure as well.
Oh, yeah,
max 320 by 400 or 200 or something resolution.
It's a cross between a Sierra and a LucasArts sort of game, in the fact that you got beautifully crafted backgrounds, but you've got the verb style of LucasArts, and you've got the character style of LucasArts as well. So it's sort of like that beautiful larger character with a little bit more detail.
Yep, that LucasArts often had.
Yep. But the beautifully rendered, beautifully
like
painted
almost
backgrounds.
hand-painted looking.
Yep.
Yeah.
That Sierra did.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Mixing the two,
Well, and of course, in 2069, those are still the top 2 gaming companies.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, no, maybe to go along with this, they've actually merged into a super gaming conglomerate
called Sikasera.
Don't throw your fucking...
That's how I came up with it, though.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it's Sierra and LucasArts put together.
I didn't realise that. For those playing along at home, that's Trevor's handle. And I just now found the origin story. So, but Origin did go defunct.
I mean, basically, EA couldn't make any good point-and-click adventure games because they kept on trying to put loot boxes in them, and they just didn't make sense.
Yeah. Then we have to have at least one loot box in our game, though.
Oh yeah, but you know what that loot box is? It's the inventory. So every time
inventory they just call it the loot box.
They call it a loot box. It's got your typical inventory stuff in it, in the fact that when you open it, it's got the same stuff in it that you expect it to have in there.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't change every time you open it.
No. I think it's a one-time gag for people who start playing the game, and it pops up with the loot box thing, and they're like, oh, what the fuck?
Would you like to open the
point and click adventure game?
Oh, you've got a new loot box in your inventory. It's like, you open it up, it's like, oh, loot box is my inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
Or does it say you've got more inventory in your loot box?
Something like that. We're not actually writing the game, so we don't have to come up with the exact phrasing. But yes. So, Trent Miller... That's not a fucking perfect 90s name.
I know.
What the hell? How did you do that? Trent Miller, he so how does he realize this has happened? Like, what's the sort of circumstances around it then? Is it that it's corrupted on the far end, right? Like whoever he's sending it to.
Yeah. They don't have the full program. Basically the AI has read his email in which he says, Professor, can you look at this? Like, there's a weird bit on this particular line. I don't know how it's happened, but it's got a superposition of both true and false at the same time. It goes into a little bit of explanation there. Sends the code, but it's only part of the way there. Basically, it's missing...
Oh, see, I was thinking that the whole superposition thing was caused by the fact that his mum picked up the phone.
No. It was caused by the new old classic crystal.
Oh, the code. Okay, gotcha.
Poured on his like the IBM AT keyboard. Yep.
Doesn't have quite have, now no longer click clacks the same way that it used to.
No. He should have used cherry Coke for those cherry switches.
Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Everyone knows that.
So, Professor, is he good or bad? Is the Professor actually secretly working for the AI?
Oh, I kind of like the idea that the past 50 years, this AI has been sort of creating this underground society who are searching for this prophecy and searching for this thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And the AI is the one that created the resistance as well.
Oh, to set them against each other?
Basically, so no matter which, if the person trusted the government, they got it. If the person didn't trust the government and went to the resistance, they got it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Well, that's got to be a big twist in the third act then.
Oh, 100%.
And when you find out that, when you finally get the hard drive back and get it to your leader and then realize that find out that they're just going to take it to the same place that your professor was going to take it, basically.
It opens up and you see that same QBasic screen. And
yeah.
And you know that it's like totally fucked because it's still using that same stupid code of the of having to hit enter.
You recognize of having what? Sorry,
of having to hit enter after putting in a Y and it.
Yeah,
y
you recognize the shoddy coding. That's what tips you off. I love that.
I don't know why no one's actually done that in like a story that both the resistance and the government are actually owned by the same.
Oh, I'm sure it's been done. It's got to have been done. There's no way we came up with that plot point. But yeah, no, it's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Something that we haven't come up with before.
I love this game idea. And this whole story. And the aesthetic.
And the fact that you're learning some new things.
That I am? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, who knew that stuff about QBasic and readline? All right, I think... and I mean, I guess the climax is just... What, does he destroy it? Maybe? Or does he...
He just
take
breaks
it
the disc in half. That's all he does. It's on floppy disk.
It just runs a magnet over it. But then he's got to back up. Like, that's your, like, sequel. Let's see your little, like, end kicker thing is.
Yeah, he opens up his backpack and he's got...
No. What has to happen is that the Resistance finally gets hold of it and there's a fucking corrupt sector on it. And they can't read the floppy disk.
Sierra.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, hang on. I'll just go back and go to it again. Oh, God. We're just... All right. This has literally been like 20 minutes of...
I mean, this is
joking about our favourite subject, which is the 90s and us being kids.
This is the thing. This is our time. This is our golden era.
This is our Goonies.
Right. We're going to do one more click picture to cap off the episode. So, Trevor, paste me that sweet stock image. Okay.
If you haven't seen all of it there, Ben, there's also, like, a rather colourful parrot.
Oh, no, I saw the parrot.
So this is sort of bringing us back to our first game. We've got what looks to be a wizard character with
kind of
white face.
Well, or like a white mask. It's almost like
a masquerade mask or a Michael Myers-esque mask.
Yeah, it's more like a Michael Myers-esque mask. I was going to say kind of Guy Fawkes, but it doesn't have that same shape to it. It's more of the Michael Myers. Yeah.
Wearing a black witch's hat on his head.
Well, kind of, yeah. But the type of hat you'd make out of, like, just a cone of paper.
Yeah.
Or cardboard. Yeah. Really basic.
What looks to be like a black velour sort of wizard robe.
Yep.
And black shoes.
Sneakers.
Black sneakers. In a desert, leaning up against a toilet.
Yep.
And out of the toilet, there is a dead tree.
Yep.
With a parrot. Mm-hmm. So Will Smith is back.
Will Smith is back as the parrot, definitely.
Yep. This is a continuation of...
This is emerging. This is emerging of our two properties.
Yeah.
The fish on his Europe vacation and Daniel Radcliffe.
Fish called Hitch.
Who is now a Death Eater, it looks like.
Well, I think the wizard went to a fancy dress party as a Death Eater.
As a Death Eater, okay.
And
woke up in the desert next to a toilet.
Woke up in the desert with a parrot that could talk, and he could understand it.
Yeah, and he's wondering, did I turn someone into a parrot? Or did I make a parrot talk and give it intelligence? Or is this an existing magical creature? Also, why is there a toilet here and why is there a branch coming out of it? Okay. So I'm sort of picturing this as obviously a sort of very surrealist kind of game. Almost so what I'm picturing, interestingly, is a retro 2D. Do you remember those games that was like very basic 3D where you'd be able to like turn in 4 directions? Kind of like an Ultima Underworld-ish sort of thing. Or like the original, I think, Wasteland maybe had that?
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sort of.
Well, you kind of have half the screen showing your view, and then like the full bottom half of the screen was all your like verbs and controls and stuff. Yeah, so I'm sort of picturing that sort of dialogue-based adventure game like that, where it's like you turn in different directions and can move forward, back, and you just see the scene from that particular tile almost.
Almost. Did you ever play, surprisingly from the Sierra game, Betrayal at Krondor, I think it was called? And it had that same...
I think that was similar.
Yeah.
I didn't play it, but yeah.
But yeah, I
didn't
think...
we do... I think we did Manhunter. That was similar too, wasn't it?
No.
Did it have some of that stuff?
Sort of. It was a little bit different.
That was a bit different because it was like scene to scene. It wasn't moving around in that same way. But.
Yeah, I sort of get that idea of you got these beautifully rendered scenes, but you can't physically move through them. It's just each time that you go to a new scene, it's like it's just moving
just
the
changes
camera
your perspective. A different image of that. Yeah, from a different scene. Yeah,
I'm just imagining this perfect 3D world that someone's actually crafted, but there are specific points along the way. And you know what? I could see this in VR.
Well, that's a bit mist. That's kind of mist-based then too.
I could see this in VR, in the fact that you've got your camera points that you can sort of teleport to, and be able to do the things in that sort of area. But
I mean, yeah, that's very similar to a VR sort of thing.
Yeah,
I guess it's what aesthetic we're going for.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's fine. Like that was just the picture that came into my mind for some reason of this bare desert. There's a fucking toilet with a branch and a parrot, and you can talk to the parrot, but you can like rotate in the cardinal directions and move in the cardinal directions, and go off into the desert, turn around, see that fucking toilet as a landmark in the distance.
Yeah, 100%. Does the parrot come along with, or does the parrot only come along if you find some like crackers to coax it along?
That could be a really annoying but interesting game mechanic. Sure. Well, I like that as a puzzle, actually. Because, so here's the thing. I would have hated this fucking game as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But, yes, this is what we're making is one of these annoying 90s games. To keep with our fucking aesthetic of this episode in general.
Uh-huh.
Where one of the puzzles is you find some crackers and you're like, oh, I can use these to find my way through this desert to leave a trail, but the fucking parrot starts eating them and following you. Like that's the first time the parrot follows you, but also it's just ruined your way of leaving a trail, because a big part of this game comes around to navigating through this desert. Because basically, once you get like 5 squares away from that toilet and the tree, you can't see it anymore. It's just desert in all directions.
It's desert in all directions, and you then get a little thing on the screen saying, your throat is rather dry.
Yes. Yeah, it just comes up with the text thing. And if you stay away from the toilet, which has some water in it, perhaps, there's just like some splashes of water in the cistern, then yeah, you just fall dead.
Yeah, and it's that typical Sierra thing of it tells you, and then 2 screens later you die.
Yeah, like not long enough for you to actually get back.
No.
I know, that's the thing. Sierra often taught you the game mechanics of a game by killing you, making you load, and it's like, now you know. Now you have the meta knowledge. There's no way in character that you know, but now you as the player have the meta knowledge that if you go 5 screens away from here, you cannot make it back without dying.
Yes. Which means that you can only go so far.
Well, until you find like a way to bring some water with you or something.
I'm getting very King's Quest V vibes from this. I'm imagining Will Smith as the parrot going, "Watch out, a poisonous snake."
So I think eventually, like, you solve some puzzles, you get away from this toilet, you find, I don't know, a magical city or something. I don't know what's the rest of the game.
Well, it's only when you get. I'm imagining it's when you get about 7 screens away and the Sierra thing in you is saying, I'm about to die, and then your character goes, oh yeah, I'm a magician, and just conjures a glass of water right in front of it.
Oh yeah, again, that's the puzzle. It's a fucking text parser game, and there's no clue that you have to type the exact phrase, conjure glass of water.
But there was a typo in the words in the dictionary file, so
yeah,
it doesn't.
So conjure doesn't have an e in the end.
congur, conjure.
Isn't that like the classic Sierra would do? Like, you can't say like use magic, you can't say like create or whatever. You have to use the word conjure. Like, specifically, it's the only word that works.
Yes, that is the typical Larry 2 end of the game paradox, in the fact that they were trying to get the game to actually recognize proper English and accidentally left it in there so that you have to use proper English. Put the lighter in the bag.
Right. Yeah, in that case, it's not a bug. It's not a bug, though. It's intentional.
100% intentional. Oh, a text parser in a VR game. That'd be interesting. Have to use the on-screen keyboard to type in what you want to use.
I like that. Actually, that's cool. But it creates the words physically or something, and then eventually you have like physics puzzles where you have to create a stack of letters or something.
Oh, I'm imagining that you can actually install like an upgrade for it that you can swipe. Basically, you've got your phone in front of you and you can type using your one finger, or you can actually do like the Google swipe thing,
right?
To actually type. So,
I like the idea of a VR game where your phone is your text parser. That's cool. All right, that's another game. So, on that note, I think we'll leave you there, back in the 90s. Have fun. Sorry we dropped you off in our time machine. But hey, now you don't have to think about all the shit that's going on in 2020. So, if you want to find us online, as long as like there hasn't been a global catastrophe that's brought the internet down by the time you hear this, you can go to podchaser.com/bitstorm, where you can find all of our previous episodes and our creator profiles for other episodes we've been on. Tons of stuff. So check that out. We are also part of the 8-Bit Collective, and this is a group of podcasts and podcasters who, you know, we're all buddies. We like each other. But also there's just a ton of great podcasts around pop culture and video games and role-playing and sports and lots of stuff. So go and check that out at 8bit.net.
And if you are listening to this in 2020, make sure that you do check out the patreon.com/weare8bit, because until the end of July, they will be donating all proceeds to Black Lives Matter.
Yes,
indeed. So that is absolutely fantastic. We are so proud to be part of the group. We'd also like you to check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. They're a network of like-minded individuals who all just want to help each other out and talk about gaming and podcasts. So check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook or at AGP Network on Twitter. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuridos for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Doing, 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 dee. Beep.
Hello.
You connect. Oh, God damn it, Mum. I'm on the internet. Hang up.